Welcome back to Gangs All here, our New York Jets podcast from the New York Post. Jake Brown here alongside my co-host Brian Costello, Jets beat writer for the Post. This episode of Gangs All here is presented by Tri-State Cadillac Dealers. Visit your Cadillac showroom today. One of the shorter welcomes you'll ever get in the history of this program, because Kaz, I've waited 5 to 6 hours to yell about this infuriating loss that the Jets just put together. Let me preface all this, Kaz, by saying Happy Hanukkah to all the Jewish folks as we record this tonight. It is the first night of Hanukkah. Hope all the Jewish people get to celebrate with their 8 presents they love, enjoy the time with their loved ones. Unfortunately, Jets fans are not trying to light the menorah because they want to put everything on fire right now after a loss to the Lions at MetLife Stadium. In a reality, you took the right score. You said Jets 23, Lions 20, and that's what the game should have ended at when it went to overtime, when you had a coach who Herm Edwards is laughing at right now. Somewhere in the world, Herm Edwards, Kaz, is laughing at the time management of Robert Saleh. Saleh ended up leaving a timeout on the board. Was he thinking it carries over 4 days to Thursday? No, there's no transitive property. It doesn't carry over. It just sits there and goes into the abyss. It's gone. You never get it back. The final timeout the Jets left, Kaz, is dangling like a Christmas ornament. There, you wanted me to get in the holiday spirit? It's dangling like an ornament on your tree right now. It's sitting there. Let's set the scene, Kaz. Jets defense. You react to this first before I start yelling. 51-yard touchdown of Brock freaking Wright on 4th down. No defense in sight. 149 to go. That happens. What do you think?
I'll take you a little further back, Jake. The Jets score with 4:41 left. 1 yard pass to Uzama, go up 17-13. I turned to Canizero and I said, this has classic Jets defense letdown written all over it. I've seen this movie before, going back to the Rex Ryan days. These defenses can be great, and then they need to stop, and they can't get the big stop, Jake. And you sort of saw this coming if you're paying attention the last few weeks. Minnesota, the Jets cut it to 20-15 in the second half. They gave up the touchdown to Justin Jefferson, 27-15, game's basically over. Last week in Buffalo, Jets tie the game, 7-7. Okay, they got some momentum in the third quarter finally. Bills go down the field and score a touchdown. So it's almost like a shutdown inning, Jake, right? In baseball, where the team scores runs and you need the pitcher to come out, shut them down. Jets defense can't do that. So I kind of expected it. That play was stunning because it was just, like you said, Brock Wright. And all of a sudden you looked down the field from the press box and you could see it. Like there was just an ocean of green in front of him. And, he catches it and you're like, okay, someone's going to make a tackle. And then Michael Carter, I think, missed him. And then Will Parks missed him. And it's like, oh my God, he's going to get in the end zone and score a touchdown. So, yeah, it was pretty stunning play, Jake.
Now, that sets the scene here. The score is 20-17, Kaz. The Jets have all 3 timeouts, 149. Some would say that's an eternity to just put up a field goal, send it to overtime. Jets ball their own 25. They don't even risk, no kickoff returns, nothing. You have it at your own 25, 3 timeouts. First down, Zach sack, loses 9 yards. You're at your own 16. All right, no timeout there. You could argue there's still plenty of time. You don't need it, although maybe
don't take it there. It's too much time. Too much
time. So right there, okay, I won't blame him. 2nd and 19, Zach incomplete for Berrios. Clock stops. 1:22 to go. Zach makes a miracle throw, 22 yards. Garrett Wilson still doesn't use the timeout. This is the first one I'm like, guys, right here, you got to use the timeout. 58 seconds left. You got all 3. You're rushing to get back to the line.
Yeah.
Doesn't use it there. Incomplete to Berrios. Clock stops, 53 seconds. All right, Saleh, 3 on the board. Still under a minute. You've waited a minute now and haven't used one. Boom, complete to Wilson, 10 yards at the own 48. Guys, how you don't use a timeout there? 21 seconds goes off the clock. You have 31 seconds and 3 timeouts is inexcusable.
So you want the excuse, Jake? And I'm not sure.
I don't want what he said after the game because we'll play it.
I'm not.
What's your excuse?
No, I've talked to some people since then. They were worried the play was going to be reviewed. I have not watched the play close enough to see if their concern was correct, but they thought the game was going to be, if they called a timeout, they thought it would be reviewed and either Wilson didn't have the ball, it wasn't going to be a first down, it wasn't going to be spotted to play something. They were worried about something there that it was going to be reviewed. You can argue that's a mistake, right? Like, don't worry about it. Just take the timeout. I like I said, I have not been able to watch that play again since I heard this, but I think when Robert Saleh explains it further, probably Monday afternoon, you might hear that addressed, Jake. I have a feeling.
I don't think that should have mattered. I mean, I get it, but I mean, that was a catch. I don't know. I got to use one there.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I mean, the basic rule is from a analytics standpoint with 3 timeouts is a minute. You use the first one after a minute, you use the second one after 45, you use the third one after 30. Now they're keeping the third one to kick the field goal in this situation, right? So you're going to save that third timeout ostensibly to stop the clock so you can put your field goal team on the board. But yeah, I mean that the 10-yard pass to Garrett Wilson, that's where I agree with you. You use the timeout because I think they wasted about 20 seconds there. The next play is 31 seconds left, right? When Wilson goes incomplete to Barrios down the field. So yeah, but I think the reason they didn't do it there is because they were afraid there was going to be not a challenge because it's under 2 minutes, but a review from the booth.
I still hate it. I get it, but that is interesting. That does make it interesting. But goddamn, I mean, you got to use it there. And on the 2nd and 10, I kind of get it because they thought it might have been short, but Garrett was clearly over the line for the first. All right, so where are we at here? 31 seconds to go.
Deep to Barrios.
Incomplete to Barrios. Clock stops 24. Wilson sacked, which we'll talk about Zach in a bit. You can't take a sack there. Throw it to Fireman Ed. Throw it to anyone in that spot. It's 3rd and 18. 19 seconds left after he sacked. And it took Saleh 90 seconds to use one of his 3 timeouts. I don't care what the reasoning is. That is unacceptable. And this guy has been fantastic all year. He's had a great year. He's been good with the clock for most of the season, but 90 seconds to finally use your timeout. Now you're planning to use it 3 straight times and hope for a couple straight completions. Finally uses it 90 seconds. Boom. 3rd and 18. Zach makes, an impossible play to Moore. For the second time out there, he didn't use it. 3rd and 18, incomplete. 4th and 18, Zach moves around. He takes forever. He finds Moore, who makes the catch. Bother me, by the way, that he's still running and going backwards instead of just falling on the ground.
Down. Yes, absolutely. Fall down. Yes, fall down.
You got to have awareness. He goes backward. Luckily for the Jets, there was 1 second left.
Yeah, because it looked over.
It looked over. I mean, they gave him a break. I mean, if they could have argued they didn't get the timeout in. Yeah. And then Saleh would have left 2 timeouts on the board, which is like mind blowing. A second left, 1 timeout left, 58-yard field goal, windy, cold, tough conditions. Greg the Leg doesn't make it. I mean, there's a lot more to blame on this game. The defense did come up big. The turnovers, Zach wasn't great in the second half.
Yeah.
But I'm like, there should have been so much more time. And you also, when you're not using the timeout, Kaz, you're not dialing up the best plays. You don't have 30 extra seconds to call a good play call, and you got to rush it there. And with an offensive line that hasn't been great. You're an
NFL play caller. You're calling. You don't need time to call plays. You're calling your plays. I get it. And the time management, he screwed it up. I think he sort of, I think he would admit he screwed it up. His answer post game. I don't know if we're going to play that.
Let's play it. Let's play it. And the journalist who asked the question was great question by the guy. Now, Marty Lyons started off with a cookie first, and then Kaz came in.
No, it wasn't a cookie. It was about 4th and 1. The 4th and 1 play is still the bigger play, Jake, than the time management. I understand fans are upset about time management. The 4th and 1 is still the biggest play.
But then the Gangs All Here podcast came in with the question that we were all waiting for. Hearts, let's play the question and the answer to what Saleh said.
I'll look back at it. With 3 timeouts, feel like anything in bounds. Obviously, you can be aggressive. You can still just trying to save as many timeouts as I can. I can probably look back at it and say we could have used one for sure. But at the same time, when you have 3 timeouts, time's not an issue whether you use one there or not. But yeah, I could always just, in hindsight, for me, call the timeout to settle the guys down. But no, it's okay. But as far as from a time standpoint, you still have plenty of time with 3 timeouts.
God, I mean, I was very confused by that. Can you try and explain it for me?
Well, I think I surprised him, Jake. Like I've sort of been around Saleh enough now where I know, what the way this works is after the game, they sit down with the PR staff, someone from the PR staff, and the PR staff's monitoring Twitter, and they're like, oh, they're going to ask about this, they're going to ask about this, and here's what you say about this. I don't think they knew this one, because he seems off. He just didn't seem to have a good answer. I mean, he sort of said, yeah, I could have used it. Like looking back, I could have used it, but then he was saying time isn't an issue, which I didn't quite understand that part of it. So yeah, it wasn't the greatest answer in the world. I'm curious to see what he says Monday when he does have time to look at it and analyze it and come up with a better answer.
Listen, Zach Wilson didn't take accountability when he should have. Robert Saleh didn't take accountability when he should have. I get it's in the moment. If I'm him, I would have said, I sucked. I should have called a timeout. I messed up. And I get it's tough to say that right after a game, but
yeah,
anyone with a brain that was watching that game saw use it. He had arguably four chances to use a timeout that he didn't. The first one, you could argue there was still a lot of time, although a sack, each of those plays, guys, I think it was like 22 seconds or more went off the clock on each of those times he didn't use it. That's an extra 60 seconds that goes off the clock.
Yeah, I get it, Jake. I still think you have to come up with a stop on 4th and 1. That's the bigger one to me. Stop them on 4th and 1, and it's not even a question about the time management. Like that's where they lost the game.
I get it, but the defense. Listen, the defense wasn't great today, but they still put the team in position to win.
Yeah, they were good.
We said the Lions were scoring 20. They did, and we said the Jets would outscore them, and the Jets had chances to outscore them. And, the difference also in this game, Zach Wilson being Zach Wilson with that interception. Brutal. What was he doing? That was a New England seeing ghost interception.
Yeah, it was a bad interception. Yeah, and he didn't. It's funny because he didn't play that well. He had the chunk plays in the second quarter. He made some nice throws there and got some explosive plays, but the offense never looked like it was really in rhythm with him. They didn't have a ton of great drives. And that interception led to a field goal, and the Jets lost by 3 points. So that's big. And then the giving up they punt return for a touchdown the second time. Was it 4 weeks? Right? They've given up a punt return or 5 weeks, and you don't see punt returns for. I think there's 3 in the NFL this season, Jake. The Jets have given up 2 of them. So
the timeouts made me forget that even happened. Like I almost forgot that even happened early in the game.
So there's a lot of
give up 10 points, honestly.
There's a lot of places to place blame here. It's not just the time management is my point. I think he deserves blame for that, but there was no running game at all. This offensive line is beat up and they do not look good right now. It's so the lack of a running game, Wilson being kind of blah and throwing a bad interception, defense folding when they needed, the one stop. And here's what I say about the defense, CJ. I thought they played well overall. This Lions offense is good. Like they're averaging 26.5 points a game. So they did good. And they've been unstoppable in the red zone. And the Jets stopped them in the red zone twice in this game. I think it was twice. They stopped them there to field goals. And so that part is good, but they didn't really impact the game. There was no takeaways for the third straight game. They had no sacks of Goff. There was long times where Goff wasn't even under pressure. So it's a weird game for the defense. Yes, they only gave up 1 touchdown in the game, but it was a monster killer touchdown. And they just didn't have a huge impact to me on Sunday.
They still essentially gave up 10 points. Let's wipe off the field goal that happened because of Zach's turnover and the special teams. That's different.
You're right.
10 points, and they could not win. And that's with 0 takeaways. I get it. The defense has to be better. But to me, this is all offense and coaching. I am going to have nightmares. All I wanted to do, Kaz, was be in Miami the last week of the season. I wanted to be on South Beach with you. If you spraying some suntan on your heads.
What are you getting your brother for his engagement party?
I'm gonna get him a gift card to hell. That's what I'm gonna get.
You bringing a dessert?
Creme brulee. Here it comes. Oh my God, they're missing the playoffs again. Coach Saleh, you left the timeout. You told my critically acclaimed co-host, that you would see him in Buffalo next year. You're going to be at Cabo on the beach. You're not going to Buffalo in January unless you're going on a family vacation to Buffalo, and I would hope you're not doing that. Good God. And the Jets cause now have to win 3 in a row. It's over. I'm sorry. I've lost faith. I mean, and we haven't, there's a million things to talk about. We haven't even factored in the news. And I thought it was possible. I said, when you weren't on last week, I'm like, I think Zach Wilson's probably going to start. Fractured ribs, Mike White. That's another layer of this. Yeah, the Jets have to win out. They might have to win out with Zach Wilson because that could be a 3 to 5 week injury.
Yeah, I don't think it's that, Jake, just talking to people. They're hopeful. He's having a scan Monday, a CT scan. I don't think anyone believes he's going to play Thursday, but they're still holding out hope that maybe the scan shows he's healed and he can play. I agree. I think he'll play Seattle, though. I think he will play in Seattle. I don't think you're gonna see Zach for the next 3 games. I think you'll get Zach Thursday night, and then I think you'll get Mike White for the last 2.
10 doctors. He went to 10 different doctors. All he had to do was call Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz would have said, "Come on, get on the field. You're good to go." That wasn't on his list of 10 doctors.
I had a doctor, Jake, when I was in high school. This doctor, his name is Dr. Should I say his name?
Dr. Ruth.
Dr. Bonet, right? It was his name. So, we used to call him "Let him play Bonet" because he would always sign off on us playing, even no matter how hurt we were. And there's one time, one of my teammates, Jim McLean, God rest his soul, he passed away a few years ago. He got hurt his leg in a game, and he was then blocking me in practice, Jake. And I was not JJ Watt in high school. I was not a great pass rusher, and I was kicking the crap out of him this day. And he goes, "So because take it easy. My leg's really hurting me." He had a broken leg. They were letting him play with a broken leg. So Mike White should have gone to let him play Bonet. That would be that'd be the moral of my story.
I wish a doctor cleared him because, I mean, listen, you get it. You got to avoid a possible internal injury. The way Mike White, he was talking about like a stroll in the park. Like, yeah, like I think I could play, but if they said if I got hit hard, it could be like season ending, career ending. You never know. And you get him not playing. But God, I tweeted out, I miss Mike White so much. And Zach had a solid first half. CJ Uzomah, my guy, finally 2 touchdowns, his first of the year. They finally dialed it. They dialed up some
the
good
third quarter was a disaster.
Yeah.
The third quarter
doomed him.
I looked up. I think his quarterback rating was a 7.8 in the third quarter, Jake. And not just the interception though, too. He missed Garrett Wilson across the middle with one.
You saw his Garrett was frustrated too. You could see it in his face.
Yeah, he missed some really easy throws, and those are the ones you just. And I thought after the interception, Jake, I thought Mike LaFleur called a scared game for a while. I thought he was scared. It was a third down that they just ran like a hitch pass out there. Like he was scared to have him push it down the field after that. Until desperation time.
Mike White, wrap your ribs. Get back in the field. The Jets' playoff hopes rely on you. We need you. Come back, my sweet prince.
You could score some horse tranquilizer, Jake, or something, right? Do you have a guy out in Astoria that can get some like high-level painkillers for Mike White?
Call Aaron Rodgers. He knows some interesting things to use, of course, with his good friend, his doctor Joe Rogan. He could get information from. I mean, listen, guys, this team is doomed. They got to beat the Jaguars, and we'll preview that game in a few minutes. But a Jaguars team that now is in the race if they win out to win the division. The Jaguars beating the Cowboys, huge win. They play Seattle in Seattle, fighting for the playoffs, and they face Miami, who, yes, if the Jets win the next 2, they could knock Miami out, and they could potentially get in, thanks to the Music City Miracle in Las Vegas, where the Patriots had one of the worst endings in the history of sports. With that throwback, you end up seeing that highlight, Kaz?
I saw it. We had it on the press box. I was watching the end of the game. I couldn't even understand what happened because no sound and watching a TV from far away. Then I watched it again though. That was insane. I can't believe a Belichick coach team could actually do that at the end of the game.
I don't know why they ran it there and then tried that. Like, why not just try to get a field goal range or something?
Yeah, I don't know. Did they think they were losing? Like,
I don't know. What's the point of even running? Like, what do you run? I thought he was almost going to run for a touchdown. But
yeah, I think you're just hoping you can break one there. Yeah. I think that's just the hope. Can you break one? But
It helps the Jets, but listen, there's so much scoreboard watching. In
But the
the end, they have
Chargers
to win
won.
3. Yeah,
Yeah, the
Chargers
Chargers
won.
won, and the Chargers have a real easy schedule coming up.
Yeah. Colts,
That's
Rams, Broncos. So they really need a miracle. I mean,
yeah.
listen, they went out. Patriots lose to the Patriots play the Bengals Saturday. Patriots lose. Jets win out. Jets are in because they would take Miami's spot and the Patriots would get out because they'd be at 8 losses. But that's it. I mean, you got to win out and then hope for a little bit of help. But it's going to take a miracle, and this frustrated me. I just thought they were the better team. I thought they should have won this game, and they lost. And listen, a part of this factor we didn't even mention is Jared Goff was sacked 0 times. This team is so much worse without Quinnen Williams, especially against the run. And you saw that. They put 0 pressure almost on Goff, and they still, again, only gave him 10 points defensively, essentially, but 0 sacks. That doesn't happen with Quinnen Williams out there.
Yeah, no, they definitely missed Quinnen. And they were running the ball well at times too. That was a big loss. And we'll see if Quinnen, can Quinnen be back Thursday night? I'm not sure if he can either.
No Mike White, no Quinnen Williams, no playoffs, no hope, no dreams. Enjoy your Hanukkah. Enjoy your Christmas.
Wow.
Enjoy your Kwanzaa. Enjoy your New Year. The Jets, in the words of Ja Rule, we were hoodwinked, bamboozled, and led astray, Kaz. The Jets' December run was like the Fire Festival. They were serving whole wheat bread.
That documentary. I like the documentary on the Fire Festival.
I'm surprised, Jake.
I'm surprised you didn't go to the Fire Festival. That seems like something that you would have been into a few years ago, right? Like seeing all those Instagram
because I didn't have $10,000 handy.
Did it cost that much to go to the Fire Festival?
Something like that. Maybe.
I thought that was for like the villa, right? That was for the villas. Like
Hearts, can you research the price of the Fire Festival? We've hit that. Now we're gonna start learning about my Irish roommate and everything else as the Jets start checking Tankathon.
You picked 7 wins though, right, Jake?
I did say 7 wins. So
you might be exactly right on the money if they lose out.
Put money on that, losing money on everything else in the NFL. Well, listen, this team is doomed, and the Jaguars come here Thursday. What do you think Thursday? We don't have a preview show. This will be our preview. It looks like there'll be some rainy, kind of nasty conditions. There might be some snow potentially, but for now, it looks like the weather, I think, is just saying.
I think it's just rain.
Yeah, 50 degrees, rain. As soon as Zach was announced the quarterback, I lost interest in going to these last 2 games, and now I even have less interest. And the trek and getting back at midnight, 1 a.m., whatever it is. Is that a dog or a cat? What was that?
It was a cat.
Wasn't the door closed? How did it get in?
No, Well, someone opened the door up there, but I have to open the door back here for the cat.
We got cats coming in. The black cat. Is that the cat? Wait, was it black?
No, it's not black. It's gray.
I was gonna say the cat that saved the Jets season. That would have been the moment right there. Hart says, by the way, Firefest range from 1,000 to 12,000. 1,000 is still 1,000 probably gets you like a tent. Well, they
10,000 had to get a tent. That was more. But I feel like a young Jake would have slapped that on a credit card and been like, I'm going to Pablo Escobar Island. I'm hanging out with Instagram models. Did you know about the Fire Festival at the time?
No, I didn't. I don't know what year did it happen. Let me do my Hearts. Get some. 2019 was the documentary was filmed. It was 2017, I believe. I think I was 26. I didn't credit card. At 26, my credit cards probably were still maxed out back then, anyways. So I don't think I had the money. We won't go into my financial status, but a lot of spending in my 20s. I definitely spent like that, which is why I probably could have gone. So you're accurate in that, but haven't taken many vacations. Well, the Jets won't take a vacation Thursday. They got to win out. Rainy, nasty. What do you think, Kaz? Let's assume that Zach Wilson is starting and Quinnen Williams is out. What do you think?
I think the Jaguars are going to win, Jake. I just I didn't see the Cowboys game. I obviously was following along, kind of saw the score. I got to think they're a very confident team. I saw Trevor Lawrence's numbers. He played well. It feels like they're getting hot at the right time, and the Jets are cold. I mean, they did get smoked by the Lions a few weeks ago, but other than that, they've been playing good football, and I just think the Jets are in a little bit of a rut here. And offensively, Jake, I know we dissect the game and everything, but if you just look over the span, even when Mike White was playing, they're not scoring a lot. They're just not scoring. So it's kind of tough to win when you don't score a lot of points.
Yeah, and we got cats meowing left and right here in the background.
She's not happy.
She's not happy about Coach Saleh's time management.
Yeah,
I think, what's the cat's name?
Juno.
Juno is not thrilled. Juno, Herm Edwards, me, we're all not thrilled with the clock management. I'll say the Jets will win because I think they're in desperation mode. I don't think it's gonna be an ugly game. And I'm saying they're gonna win, hoping that they know how to run the football. Once again, Kaz, 0 on the run. They did the longest run of the day was 6 yards, 107 for the Lions, 50 rushing yards on 22 attempts. This is a team we always say miss Breece Hall. Bam Knight at one point got hurt, came back in. Michael Carter didn't do much. Ty Johnson still not involved at all. But the Jets can't win without any semblance of a run game.
Yeah, I mean, the offensive line is scuffling right now, Jake. They're banged up. I don't, George Fant doesn't look right to me when I'm watching him. I think Herbig was a nice story. I think he's faded a little bit. I think the injuries are starting to catch up with them along the offensive line. Yeah, Bam Knight 1.8 yards a carry today, and I don't know, Jake. I thought they needed to get Michael Carter a little more involved early. Like, he didn't touch the ball until the second half. I didn't really understand that. Like, I understand Bam Knight is now the lead back, but it wasn't working. So start mixing it up. And, like, they ran that one end around to Elijah Moore. They could do more with that stuff too, a little more creativity. But yeah, the running game is scuffling, Jake.
I said it. Creativity. Some end rounds that, it works almost every time with Moore. They did the QB sneak at the one, Kaz. He was short, didn't work out. And then I actually liked the play call there on, I think it was third down, the little bootleg to Zama. That was a nice play call. So
yes,
there were some good ones, but overall it was boom or bust. Like you said, not enough continuity with the offense. It was a lot of just, all right, chuck it deep. It was a lot of those miracle plays like we saw against the Titans, the improvising, the last play to Moore, a lot of
that Michael Carter catch.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, that should have been an interception. That
was incredible. Like, the Lions secondary had so little awareness because even the long one to Jeff Smith. Like, I don't know what they were looking at. Like, they did not make plays on the ball at all. So he got lucky that the Lions secondary stinks.
And they still won the game. The Lions defense sucks, and the Jets still lost, which is why I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. God, we said win Lions, win Jaguars, then let's have some fun. Now it's just win and hope for the best. And
do you think they're going to win Thursday night, Jake?
I think they'll win Thursday, but I don't think they'll win at Seattle. I just think Geno Smith is going to have a huge chip on his shoulder and is going to want to beat the Jets so bad. And you already are ready for that story. You're excited. You're going to have your Starbucks cup of coffee there in Seattle because that's all they have is coffee.
There might be a lead about, a punch to the face or something like that.
Here comes the back cover of the paper. It's going to be IK and Kampali's cartoon.
Geno Smith delivers the knockout punch to the Jets season.
I think you want the Jets to win Thursday, so that could be the lot. Because if the Jets lose Thursday, it's over because they don't lead any of the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
So that'll God, I don't want that headline. Now I'm not going to stop thinking about that if they win on Thursday.
Knockout punch.
Part of me is like, just lose. I mean,
just lose.
I want them to win. That sounds bad, but like my mental health, like if they lost at least the last 2 weeks, I know don't matter, and I won't have to watch flight prices and hotels for Miami. But like if they win, they're gonna tease us, and then they win in Seattle. You're excited because Miami looks beatable. Miami has come back down to earth. It's that game in Seattle. That's
slow your roll though, Jake. Did you watch that Buffalo game? That was one of the highest level football games I've watched in a while. Like, Miami played very well in that game. They just ran into a really good team.
Yeah. But they are beatable, I think, especially and it's the last week of the season. Guys are banged up, hurt. Everyone's just
Jets can win all 3 of these games. None of them are, oh my God, they can't win these games. They'll be favored
with your chest, Kaz.
They'll be favored over the Jaguars, right? They'll be favorites over the Jaguars. Is the line out yet?
That might be a pick 'em. I don't think the line is out, but let's I would guess that maybe they're 1 point favorites against the Lions.
Jets are 1 point favorites right now.
1 point favorite. Yeah,
according to Caesars.
Yeah. So basically, they're saying the Jaguars are favorites. Jets are only favorites because they're home. So they got to win. I'll say they win. You say they lose. I'll say like we did here, 20-17. God, the 23-20. You know, you would won a lot of money if you predicted that score, and it would have been right if it went to. Well, Jets could have lost in overtime too. So who knows? But
there.
And the other thing that just again with the timeouts is that why not have a shot at touchdown? If you use the timeouts, you're in the running for a touchdown, and there is no overtime. They were playing so hard for just the field goal. I know they're probably not going to get it, but at least if you had an extra 30, 45 seconds there, you would have time for maybe
30
a touchdown.
Or 45 seconds, Jake. You'd have an extra 20 seconds, maybe. Like you're not using
they ate 40
you're
seconds.
not using the third timeout. You're saving that third timeout for the field goal, right? So you're using the second timeout that you're, that's the one.
But think what an extra 20 or 30 seconds would have done there. I mean, you're setting
I think it's a better
45 instead of a 58
I agree
yard
with that.
field goal.
I don't think they're scoring a touchdown there, though. I think.
But that has to be in the back of your mind as a coach. Like maybe we can if we get close enough with timeouts to do it. Instead, they were without timeouts and without glory, without balls. No balls. We talk about Mike White as balls. Zach Wilson, no balls. Robert Saleh, no balls. We are ballless in Seattle. You want a headline? Ballless in Seattle. Tom Hanks will be in the crowd. And was it Meg Ryan was the other star of that movie?
Yeah, I don't see that flying. Meg Ryan, yes. Yeah.
That might not make the New York. Oh, it's the New York Post. It might fly. You never know. Jets, Jaguars Thursday. We'll be back Friday morning to react to that game. And we should have Gary V, special guest. Hopefully the Jets win, so Gary won't have to yell about anything.